Ah, yes. Have you ever wanted to explore a world where you can meet new people and try to survive with them, trade with them, or even eat other players? Well, then DayZ it's a game for you. Let's get started with what even is DayZ. So DayZ, it's basically a hardcore survival game set in the world where a viral outbreak has wiped out most of its population, turning them into zombies. But what really makes it stand out isn't just the crazy zombie hordes, it's the players. You're dropped into a massive open world environment with nothing but the clothes on your back and wherever you can scavenge. The goal? Well, there's no set goal in the game, but mostly it's to survive and gather good loot and eventually build your own small base. You'll need to find food, water, and weapons. You can find yourself stranded in the middle of the forest without food and water, and you can, well, starve pretty quickly. The fun in the game are mostly players, since most interactions are not good for you, since you'll probably end up dead if you're new to the game. You'll probably be robbed and left for the dead. It's a brutal game of trust, betrayal, and survival, and every decision counts. One wrong move and you could lose hours of progress. Whether you are teaming up with strangers, trading loot, or hunting them down, DayZ is all about the interactions you have with other players and the chaos that unfolds because of them. So, why is DayZ such a must-play game, especially for a survival game enthusiast? Well, it's a true open-world survival game. DayZ offers 3 maps. 2 of them are free and 1 is paid. So the classic one, Chinaris, it's a massive map offering lots of different terrains, from forest to open fields to the beaches of Chernogorsk, to the northwest airfields, to large military bases, to small camps. Livonia is more like mostly a forest. Also offers some fields. It's way greener than Chinaras, but it's a less smaller, so more player interactions are possible. Then Sikal, it's just a frozen hellhole, basically. You are not expected to survive on the map very long, since you will probably freeze to death. Well, DayZ is also great due to the player-driven stories. The unpredictable interactions with other players make every moment intense and memorable. You can team up with strangers, trade, or even betray them for the loot, which is, I must say, very fun. The drama and tension are unlike anything you will find in other games. As you might heard, it's quite a hardcore game, so permadeath is, well, you can lose everything, every decision matters. There are a lot of different things that can kill you. If you manage to get food and water, you'll probably eventually run into a pack of wolves or even a bear and die. You could starve to death, you could dehydrate it, you can get sick, start vomiting every piece of food you eat, and of course die. Or you can get even gunned down by other players. Dynamic weather and day-night cycles. Well, the weather affects you very much in the game, since every time it rains you get wet. So if you do not get dry clothes on you or get to a warm place, you will probably get sick and eventually die. During the night, you cannot see anything. It's just like looking in a black screen. If you use a flashlight or a light stick, you will eventually die because a player will see you from miles away. The game has a very big, thriving modding community. So it has a modding community that creates custom maps, new game modes and unique experiences that keep the game fresh and give players tons of options to explore and try out new content. It's a gritty and an immersive atmosphere, so it takes in a the game takes place in a post-Soviet country, and you can see quite a few commie blocks, especially in the big cities, some houses. It's quiet. At times it could be very grey. Oh, that's just because of the loss of blood. Because if you lose a lot of blood, everything goes grey. Uh, Evolving gameplay. So the game has received many updates over the years, especially since the early days when the game was just a mod for the game Armor 2. Well, although it may sound great, DayZ isn't for everybody. Well, why? Because it can be very frustrating and hard. You can die in ways you'd never expect, like drinking from a river and getting sick, bleeding out from a small wound, or even get infected from bad food. Oh, and let's not forget you could get killed by a player with top tier loot, or backstabbed by somebody you thought was your ally. If you're ready to take on this challenge, be prepared for a lack of clear objectives, slow progression, and pacing. DayZ isn't a game where you can grab a gun, jump into action, pack gunfights with 5 minutes of spawning. It might even take you hours just to find another player or an even working gun. Sometimes you just find the bullets for the gun, sometimes you just find the gun without the bullets. On top of that, there's a steep learning curve. There are no tutorials, no in-game guides, so you'll either need to check out a YouTube tutorial or team up with a friend who is experienced in the game. If you're a new player or a returning player, and you're getting bored of the vanilla gameplay, DayZ has an incredible modding community, as I mentioned before. Do you want to explore Pripyat? Well, you can do that. Always dreamt of flying a helicopter in DayZ? Well, you can do that as well. Want to get your hands on some more modern firearms that aren't exactly in the vanilla game? Like the P90 or the FNF 2000? Well, there are servers which use heavy mods that bring all this and more to the game. In conclusion, the game is a brutal and unforgiving survival experience that's not for the faint of heart. It's open world gameplay where every choice can mean life or death, keeps players on the edge of the seat. The lack of clear objectives and slow progression can be frustrating even to some older players, but for those who enjoy the real challenges and thrill, I believe this game is for you. It's incredibly rewarding. The game's modding community adds endless variety of new experiences, new weapons, new vehicles, new maps. It basically makes DayZ a new game to explore. However, it's not without its bugs and issues. Performance problems and steep learning curve can make the game tough to get into. If you're looking for a hardcore survival game, then it's for you. I recommend to play the game with a friend that you know is experienced in the game, because solo can make you quit on your first attempt. Because after time of playing the game solo, you will start to hear footsteps or gunshots that didn't even happen.